Hi. We have a Consul propane fridge at our cabin that stopped working. All was well until I defrosted it. I didn't turn it off, but started to lower the temperature and then decided against it and turned it back to maximum cold where it was. When we returned the following weekend, the fridge wasn't working. We proceeded to clean it, use the special brush on the flue, vacuum the coils, etc., and the burner will light, but it won't stay lit unless we hold in the start button. We have been told this is likely a thermocoupler issue and had one on hand. We had a similar problem a few years ago, but eventually, the burner stayed lit, so we replaced it. Still won't stay lit. We've set up a broom handle jimmied up to the start button on one end and the couch on the other to keep it going, but even then, sometimes it doesn't keep the fridge/freezer cold. Seriously frustrating. Any suggestions?
Hi. I'm Smitty. I am a professional appliance repair consultant here to help you diagnose and repair your appliance. Please do not bypass the safety system with a broom handle. It can cause a fire or worse, carbon monoxide poisoning. What is the model number of your unit, please?
I'm not sure if I have the correct info, but on the front of the booklet it says, CQE22A. We haven't kept the fridge operating continually with the broom handle, only in an attempt to keep the pilot light lit for more than the 5 seconds or more as recommended in the instructions. We did this the last time the fridge wouldn't relight and it did work.
I am sorry, but I do not have the information you require. I will opt out and another expert may be able to assist you. Sorry for the inconvenience.
Have you forwarded my question to another expert?
Hello, sir or madam, and thanks for choosing the JustAnswer.com appliance category. The pilot heats the millivolt generator/thermopile. When the millivolt generator/thermopile is hot enough, it will signal the valve to let the gas through. If the pilot is not properly positioned, it won't heat the millivolt generator/thermopile. The millivolt generator/thermopile is an electrical part similar to a battery with a wire going back to the valve. The internal wire can be damaged by rough handling. If you have a voltmeter, you can check the voltage at the valve end without connecting it to the valve. After it is connected at the pilot end, light the pilot in the usual way and measure the voltage after a few minutes while still holding down the pilot button to keep it alive. If there is 0.2 to 2 volts, the millivolt generator/thermopile is working. The connection at the valve end is very fragile. If you look down the threaded hole in the valve connection, you will see a thin metal contact at the bottom similar to a battery contact. When you thread the millivolt generator/thermopile connection into the valve, the metal contact should only be slightly pressed down but still have a little spring left. If the connection is too tight, the contact will be crushed flat and won't have enough spring to move when the unit is hot, and the contact will be lost. If the contact inside the valve is flattened, you can use a metal pick, for cleaning teeth, to bend the spring back in the contact, or replace the valve again. I usually use the small ignition wrenches, less than 3 inches long, for the millivolt generator/thermopile connection because a full-size wrench/pliers can easily damage the contact by applying too much pressure. Also make sure that neither Teflon tape nor pipe sealant is used on the electrical connection for the millivolt generator/thermopile. These are routinely used for pressurized piping systems to prevent leaks but will make electrical connections fail. The ball end of the connector is half of the circuit. This makes contact with the springy contact in the valve. The threaded fitting is the other half. If the pilot still won't stay on, you can measure voltage from the millivolt generator. The gas valve needs to be replaced.
I just want to make sure we are on the same page. The thermocoupler screws into the gas valve. Inside the gas valve there is a part that has a spring at one end and sits inside the actual valve where the thermocoupler screws into. This part I assume is called the millivolt generator / thermopile you are talking about. Do I have that right? This is the part between the thermocoupler and the valve. The other end of the thermocoupler sits in the burner flame. If I understand you correctly, this part has a flaw. I have over-tightened the thermocoupler, compressing the spring to tight, or the wire lead in this part has been damaged. If I have tightened it tight, I need to check the connection inside the valve and bend it up a bit, then put everything back together, but do not over-tighten.
The millivolt generator / thermopile is another name, more technically correct, for the thermocouple. The contact in the valve is just a contact. The first thing to check is the voltage coming out of the millivolt generator / thermopile / thermocouple with a meter. This check covers both the flame placement and the millivolt generator / thermopile / thermocouple operation. After you vary the millivoltage caused by the heat of the flame, we can go to the next stage of installation into the valve. The ball end of the connector is half of the circuit. This makes contact with the springy contact in the valve. The threaded fitting is the other half. The two parts are not allowed to touch each other or the circuit will be turned off, short circuit. ROMR 200941186.0852694556.
We'll be at the cabin for the weekend and we'll try to fix the fridge using your suggestions. I'll report back to you next week.
Okay, bring a multimeter with you.
If you have a home improvement or appliance question and want to chat with an expert now, visit justanswer.com/ythi.